So we are on the set of Undateable today. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Tell me a little bit about your character.
Justin is kind of a lovable loser. He's a romantic, definitely. He's a big musicals fan, loves musicals. He loves the 80s. He loves boy bands. He loves love. He loves tucking in his shirt. And he's just really somebody who's like, I want to find somebody to love. I feel like he lives in a musical in a sense. Like he I bet some of his dreams have been him waking up and like rabbits are singing outside his door. And like for real, I feel like in his mind. In fact, if this gets to like a season 4, we'll probably have an episode where I'm a cartoon.
Like an animated live action hybrid.
I'll pitch it. Oh.
So now how does he meet Danny?
He meets Danny because his bar's not doing too well. Danny's roommate left, so it's just kind of like this circumstance where Danny was told that this guy needs a place to stay. So he meets him actually in his bar while singing Girls Just Want to Have Fun. That's how I'm introduced to Danny, which for Danny is a little weird because Danny is the opposite of me. He's a motorcycle, sleeps around, doesn't date. Definitely would wake up in a musical. He'd probably wake up in a Blade movie, to be honest with you. But yeah, so that's like kind of how we meet.
All right, great. So what makes Justin completely undateable?
The thing is like he's not undateable. It's more like the show is less about like being undateable and more about how everybody at one point in their life has felt undateable. So his only thing that ever steps in his way in particular is himself, in the sense that he will build up somebody in his mind and put them on a mountain, as opposed to just treat him as a person and be like, hi, we should go on a date. I think he just becomes infatuated or kind of makes grandiose ideas in his mind, like, oh, this is the one, I'm in love with her, I can't lose it, so I won't try. So he kind of like slowly learns pretty quickly on, like through Danny and stuff, like, don't be a wuss, just make a move, you know, because it's Danny's kind of thing. But Danny's undateable because he can't commit to anything. So everybody in the show, in their own way, is undateable.
Interesting.
But like I said, we all feel that way.
Yeah.
I do in this shirt, to be honest with you.
It's a great shirt.
Yeah.
It's a good shirt.
Thank you.
So, what's it been like putting this whole cast of you guys are all stand-up comics? What's it been like putting all these different talents together? And
it's so fun. Yeah. 4 of us are stand-up comedians who all knew each other. Chris I've known since I was 18. He's like my best friend. And Rick, who plays Bursky on the show, is one of my best friends. He's kind of like my wife. I always say, like, because he's my neighbor in my apartment complex too. And he has been for a couple of years. He's like my Kramer. And I
wait, like really, you guys actually live
we
live
in the same building, like a room over, and he'll just walk in at 3 in the morning, like, you got to try this pie. And I'm like, pie? You know, like, we have weird. I always say if Rick is my wife and Chris is my mistress, because I'll go out and have my fun with Chris. I'll stay out late, then I'll come back to the place, argue with Rick, and then he'll make me like some meal, and then we'll watch like America's Got Talent together. Like, that's what we are. And then Ron, who can't fall in love with Ron? He's America's sweetheart. In fact, I think the show will be called Ron and Friends by episode 2.
Nice.
But yeah, I knew him through stand-up, so it's really cool because also all 4 of us are different styles of stand-ups, you know, which is very interesting if you get to see that show.
Yeah.
Us do stand-up, I mean.
Now, how did you guys get connected with Bill Lawrence?
Bill's assistant had seen me do stand-up at a showcase and said, you should meet this guy. So I met with Bill, and we just hit it off. Like, I was actually a production assistant at Conan at the time. So I ran across the lot to meet Bill Lawrence for like a half-hour meeting, which turned into an hour-and-a-half meeting because we kind of hit it off. We're both from Connecticut, we both like musicals, we both like basketball. So then we started like hitting it off. He came to a show that night, you know, we had a beer. Rick was on the show that night, and I had talked about Rick in the meeting, so then he met Rick, and we all hung out and started playing b-ball together, and it was just like, didn't even know about this show yet, and then he was just like, hey, I got this project I want you and Rick to come in for. I don't think he intended on giving me the role, but I think he thought I would have lost my mind if I did. But maybe he did.
Yeah. So how are you and Justin similar? Any similarities there between you two?
Yeah, there's
apparently there's musical love there.
Well, yeah, which is interesting too, because I used to always sing. Ironically, I think musicals. I want to be in a musical because I think it's funny. Like, there's something funny about being very serious in a musical to me. You know, like something about like I love you, like all that stuff. You know, that talk singing crap.
Yeah.
That you could tell me what we did. I don't know, and who are we? Like, I never understood. Like, when did that start? You know, my older brother, who's actually here, he was in a lot of musicals, and we used to have like opera singers stay with us in the summer. I don't know why. It makes me sound more pretentious, but they would sing in the shower and stuff and wake me up, and it's the most horrifying sound. Opera singers are the loudest singers ever. So I used to sing to make fun of them.
Yeah.
And then here I am.
Yeah, I heard you sing in pretty much every episode.
Yeah, Bill has managed to work that in because he really loves musicals. Like, he knows about them. You wouldn't think he knew about them. And then he'll be like, I think he thinks I know a lot about them. So then he'll be like, well, you know, just do this from Les Mis. And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm just Googling, like, oh my God, what the hell is that? I've never heard of it before. So it's so fun.
So what do you love about Justin so far?
You know what I like about Justin is, like, a big part of his character is he's he messes things up a lot. Like, he's very awkward when he's talking to women. Sometimes he steps on himself, but he likes himself. Like, he really genuinely cares about himself. Like, he knows who he is, and he puts that out there. He lives out loud, and he doesn't care who takes it or if you don't take it, because that's who he is. He's not afraid to, like, hide his feelings or put his heart on his sleeve. So I think I really like that. I think if I was going to relate anything from him to me, it's the heart on the sleeve type of thing. I'm not similar in some of the other aspects, but those are the fun aspects. It's so fun to play him.
Yeah.
It's so fun to play somebody like that.
Yeah. What's the relationship like between him and Danny?
It's like an odd couple. I'd say it's like more like a modern day odd couple, because it's like I'm this kind of put together, shirt tucked in, looking for love, and he is the leather jacket, girl every night, thinks he's a king, you know. So it's just a lot of me being like, you're not a king, and him being like, I am a king, and you need to listen to me, and me be like, no, you're not a king. So we always battle each other back and forth, which makes it kind of like a perfect friendship. It's like almost like a perfect married couple in a sense. Because it's like, I'm the one who's like got his stuff together, and you have to be like, honey, come on.
Yeah.
So it's such a good, I think it's a good relationship. It's fun.
Does any of Danny's advice end up panning out?
Sometimes, you know, it ends up going like, he'll give a little bit of advice and it makes sense. And then I'll give him some type of advice and it makes sense. But there's always like a little something that goes wrong. And then we kind of work it out together. It's almost like one's here and one's here. And by the end of it, we even each other out a little bit.
Any dream casting for Justin's love interest?
Kate Beckinsale. But I guess that's going to be hard to get. And she is kind of tall. Not that I'm not tall. I'm not short. That's what I'm getting at. Couldn't do that more like Justin, by the way I said that. Who else? Who else do I really like? Somebody's awesome recently. Jennifer Lawrence. Pretty cute.
All right.
But I feel like she could, like, take me. You know what I mean? That'd be,
She
like,
could probably
fun.
take you out. I mean, she's not that you're not. I mean, you look like you take care of yourself, but
Thank
I'm
you.
pretty
I
sure
love how
that
you
Jennifer
didn't even make eye
Lawrence.
contact when you said that.
Pretty sure Jennifer Lawrence could take anybody
You
if she
look like
wants
you
that.
kind of take care of yourself.
Oh, come on.
Who else would I want? There's somebody. I don't want to end this because I'll think about it. I like Rooney Mara. She's
Ooh.
kind of hot.
Again,
She's a weirdo.
kind of the ass-kicking chick.
She is.
I mean, a little. You like those action chicks? All right,
I
good
guess
to know.
I do.
Yeah.
Just learning that about myself.
It's something to think about.
Do you know Rooney Mara?
don't.
Could you hook me up?
I'll work
Who
on
do you
that.
know?
Who do I know?
Yeah, personally.
Let's
Do
see.
you have
I'll
any
have
famous friends?
I'll have to think about it.
Think of somebody.
I'll think of somebody good. I'll send him over here.
We'll have a date.
Perfect.
You try.
We'll get it going.
Please.
What's okay? What kind of dating advice would you give any of your undateable friends?
Oof. I'll tell them this. And this is kind of what you learn in the pilot a little bit. The things you think make you undateable can sometimes be the things that make you, like, the most dateable if you own it, you know? Wow, that was a good little quote.
That was really deep. Yeah.
So I would say, take the risk and go for it. And this is what I'll say, and this is going to be cool. You like this? I've used this line before.
Okay.
I'll say this. The things that we regret in our lives are the things that we don't do, and the things that we thought were a big deal and bad, a couple months later we realize weren't that big a deal. So stop overthinking it, make the move, and if she says no, just go home, YouTube some sad stuff, and go to bed, because tomorrow you'll be fine. I should run for Senate.
Definitely should. All right.